As you know, I had a double mastectomy, which was a skin and nipple sparing mastectomy with immediate reconstruction. So that means that as soon as the breast doctor went in and did all the scooping of all the fat and natural breast out, then my plastic surgeon, Dr. Firamonte, went in and put an implant in both, and then they went in from underneath the breast, sewed me back up, and things were great. Until they weren't. After they removed the purple sucker, we noticed that the nipple had died, and they said that it may fix itself. Let's give it some time and watch it. So we did. However, in January, the second week of January, I think it was, I ended up getting super sick. So you can watch that video and my previous video. I go into detail about how sick I was and that I had septic. And so I was taken to the emergency room, scheduled for surgery. They took out the implant and they cut a large portion, about like that, off of my breast. And so they left me flat. So since January, I've had one breast and then nothing on this side. That was a mind messer for me, I won't lie. When I originally went in to talk to the doctor about possibly doing reconstruction, I was already in the mentality that I just wanted to go completely flat, and I was going to be done with it just because I didn't want multiple surgeries. Every time we have a surgery, you have a chance for things to go wrong. So it's just something that I wasn't wanting to do. I'm almost 42, I have 6 kids, I'm married, I don't dress with cleavage showing, I don't wear bikinis. I'm a very modest person, so to me it just didn't make sense to have breasts. It just became more of a vanity issue for me, I think. But she talked me into doing it because she was like, oh, but at least if you have implants, then if you decide you want to wear a swimsuit or a pretty dress, you at least can have something. So we decided to just go ahead and do it. So we did implants. I was a full C, small D before the double mastectomy, and now I'm like maybe an A cup. Again, that's my choice. By going smaller, I was able to have the immediate reconstruction. And again, in my head, I just wanted to be one and done. I actually really enjoy my small breast better than my larger breast. I think they fit my body better. I don't know that I would say that I would. She's asked me a couple times if I wanted to go bigger, and I just don't. I really am enjoying how I look with the small breast. But anyway, that brings us to today. Today is May the 18th, and I was scheduled for another surgery number 3. So what they did today, I told you I have been completely flat on the right breast, but they went in, they put a spacer in, so now you can see I have a little breast now in comparison to my other breast. They're not too far out. It's just right now, this one is more of a higher profile, but they've blown it up so that way if I do decide to wear, I still have my drawings because I haven't taken a bath, that was this morning, but if I do decide that I want to wear something a little bit more revealing, at least I have a little bit of cleavage there to match this one. So that's how it's being blown up. So she put the spacer in this morning, and then she went ahead and filled it a little bit, as much as she could. She did put me back on my little pump, so my little green thing. Now the one good thing about the little green thing is this time, the last 2 surgeries, they've made it go over the entire chest, and it was just uncomfortable having it, like, it would make me like hunch over almost because it was sucking so hard. This time it's only a small one, so you can see it's basically this thick and it runs to here. So it's very small, it just goes over the incision. So she went back in through the incisions that she used back in November, so that she's not creating more and more and more. I do have quite a bit of scars. You can't see this one very well right now. They healed, my scars actually healed up really well, but I have 3 dots on this side from where they did tubes. And then on this side, I've got 1 and 2. So I do have 2 dots on this side from that. And then the underneath scars, I don't know if you can see them or not. Maybe if I bring you closer, you can see it. Yeah, see, but you can barely see the scars. So I'm okay with that. This one, same thing. She went through the same one. You can see where she's cut it, but I've actually been lucky on, let me put you back. I've been lucky with the scarring. I scar, when I do scar, I mean, you can see it but it's right underneath where the natural fold is. So we went large enough to cover up where it was. So if I wear something, which I never will, but if I'm naked, I can't see it unless I like really look for it, and they fade it out to almost like a white. So it's really nice on their own. But anyway, so that's where we're at right now. Surgery number 3 was this morning. I went to the hospital in New Braunfels, and I had to be there at 6 for check-in. Surgery was scheduled at 7:30. I was out and awake by 9:15, and then I was home by 11. So it was a nice whirlwind. I'm still kind of out of it a little bit from all the stuff that they give you when you're there. They gave me nerve blockers, they gave me pain medicine, they did the anesthesia. I mean, they just do so much of a cocktail of things that kind of has a long-term effect for me. So I can't drive for 48 hours, so I went ahead and took off work today and tomorrow, but I'm planning on going back to work on Friday. I have absolutely no plans, so that's a great praise to God that I don't have any. My husband must be home because my dog is going crazy. But anyway, I'm not in any pain, so the only thing that's weird is having my little sucker pump. It still makes that growling noise every once in a while, but it's not nearly as bad as it was when it was up here, because again, when they got done doing it, my skin was actually like concaved in. Like you could stick your fist in. It was the weirdest thing. And so when it's sucking, it constantly had to suck to make sure that that all stayed nice and tight. And because it's right here now, it doesn't do it very often. So every once in a while it'll growl, but not bad. So I'm not too embarrassed about wearing it to work. I think the one thing I would say is you have to lose your vanity if you're going to do something like this, just because it is a brain messer. I suffered with a little bit of depression after my first surgery, just trying to get used to the mourning almost out of the loss of my larger breast, even though I'm happy with my smaller breast. It's just a big change. They still do not look normal. Anytime you have a mastectomy, because they're taking out all the fat, even with the implants, they still just don't look right. So the plan right now is I'm gonna go back and see Dr. Firamonte, my plastic surgeon, every 2 weeks. And she has a needle and she's gonna poke it into this skin spacer and slowly blow it up until we match this side. And then hopefully in 3 months, and I'm shooting for August because I'm leaving for Peru in September. So I'm hoping to get it done before then. If not, I'm gonna have to wait until October, and then we're pushing it. So I don't like that. So I'm hoping to get it done in September. We're already pretty large, in my head anyway. We're pretty large, even though we're like nothing. But that's okay. I have a man boob is what I call it. Just a pectoral muscle. But anyway, in 3 months, I'll go back for my 4th and final surgery. They're going to take out the spacer, put in the forever implant, and then she's going to do some fat grafting. So she's going to be taking, like, my love, I don't have a whole lot, y'all, but I've lost some weight since I got released in January. I got released in February. End of February, beginning of March. So I've been going to the gym since March because it makes me feel better about myself, because it is kind of weird seeing one breast and no breast. It messes with your head just a little bit. So I really had to work to overcome that, and so I feel really good about it. I'm completely confident on how I looked with it towards the end, so whatever. But at this point, I'm like, I've already maxed out my insurance, and might as well do it if we're gonna do it. So that's the reason we are doing the reconstruction now of the breast that had the infection. So finance, today's, they had not got it approved for insurance yet, but we went ahead and did it anyway. I just had to sign a waiver saying that I understood if for some reason the insurance wouldn't pay for it, I'm responsible for it. The hospital bill, the hospital was $50,000 just for the hospital. That doesn't include the anesthesiologist. That doesn't include my plastic surgeon's fees. That's just the hospital to allow me to have my surgery there. So that's a lot of money for this surgery. So that would be my next thing, is if this is something that you think that you want to do, just make sure that financially you can afford it. Because again, even though insurance pays 80% and you pay 20% is how mine's set up. But even with that being said, my first surgery in November, I ended up paying $12,500 out of pocket. But it was in November, and when I went back to the hospital in January, my insurance had completely started over, so I had to pay another $12,500 to get maxed out on my insurance. So once I pay my $4,000 deductible and my $8,500 max out of pocket per year, insurance then covers everything 100%. So I shouldn't be out anything else, nothing for prescriptions, anything. Everything's free for the rest of the year. So that's the reason I'm kind of like, just if we're gonna do it, just do it at this point. I've already spent, you know, $24,000 to look like this. Yay! I had my dinner, I spilt it. But this looks like $25,000. Probably not, but that's okay. It's gonna be fine. When I go back for my next surgery, my fourth surgery, I'm telling you, they're gonna do fat grafting. So she's gonna try to take some fat from my stomach, my legs, and my love handles, and she's going to then process it, and then she's going to go back and inject it into both breasts, because again, because I don't have fat, this nipple has a tendency to go in, so it's a concaved nipple, and then there's a little bit of gapping, especially over on the sides here, that look a little weird. So she's going to go in, see how it's flat. So she's going to go in and put some fat in there too, and then this one, same thing, she'll do the fat grafting once she puts the implant in. That's where we're at, guys. If you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll try to answer them for you. Again, I'm happy that I had the surgery. I mentally am in a better space as far as having to worry about, is this the day that they tell me you have cancer? Because every 6 months I was having some kind of a test done, and every 6 weeks I was having blood drawn, and I had to take tamoxifen for a year, which made me feel very lousy, not sick, but just very not myself, depression, tired all the time. All of that was there. So, but like I said, I still stand by my decision because I don't have to deal mentally with all of that stuff anymore. So think about it if it's something that you want to do. I mean, I strongly encourage you to do it for your own mental state. I think as women, we get so caught up in the vanity of the world that we are letting the world define us by our breast and how we look, and that's how it shouldn't be. And so I would just say, get over vanity. This isn't about what looks good. It's about what feels good for you and what's right for you mentally. And for me, my decision, this was 100% right for me. Even though I'm having to do multiple surgeries now, I'm not happy about it. But at this point, you can't go back and change anything. And I know once this is all done, I'm just gonna have a completely different perspective of things, and my mind's gonna be so much clearer. So anyway, thanks for following on. If you are doing this, let me know. Drop a comment below. Let me know if you're going to be doing a prolific mastectomy as well, or if you've had one, and how is your recovery process going? Or if you have questions that maybe I didn't answer, let me know. But again, I do have, this is my third video, I think, maybe fourth, of my journey through this since November of last year. And I'll post some more as we go through the slowly of the filling up the breast. We're going to look at the nipple to see if we're going to do a transplant nipple where she takes partial nipple and puts it here and it supposedly grows again, or if we just want to do a 3D nipple tattoo on it, or do we just want to leave it alone? I don't know. Right now there is a pink spot. It's not necessarily a nipple. I mean, it's where the nipple used to be, but it's just scarring. Remember I told you my scarring usually turns pink or white. So I do have a lot of scarring on this breast. So it is what it is. Anyway, this is long enough. Bye, guys.